Uh, anyway, good morning. This is Janine Bolon with Open Friday Coffee, and today I am here to discuss with you what am I here for? If you're a human being on planet Earth and you are listening to this, I would like you to start asking that question. Some people will say, "Why am I here?" Well, why is very accusatory. I mean, when we first started, we're first starting to be asked questions of us. Somebody would shake their finger at you and go, "Why are you here? What did you do that for? What have you?" And so I kind of changed it up just a little bit so it's not quite so accusatory. It's what am I here for? What are you here on planet Earth to do? Is it to be something totally and completely outrageous? Is it to be the most creative version of yourself? Well, kudos to you. Make it happen. I had this picture taken by a friend of mine. It said literally, Janine, you were talking to me about being a sacred clown, and this is what came at me while I was on the street. And then, of course, clowns kind of give it a bad rap because they're terrifying to some people. And I absolutely loved what Al Bundy had to say about it in the midst of all the insanity during 2020. These were the memes that were starting to float around. But actually, my very first experience with clowns was through the rodeo. And yes, I did do a little bit of that rodeo clowning and had a great time with that. But why am I here? Oh, I am here for pie. Yesterday was Pie Day, not 3.14159. It was the pastry fruit. So in celebration, I had a lemon pie yesterday. So I came for the pie. I came for the coffee. This is a Miko Coffee Collective down in Longmont. You can usually find me here on a Sunday meeting with people. It's one of my favorite places to hang out. So I'm here for pie, coffee, and let us not forget chocolate. I absolutely love it. And I want to say thank you for being here because you make my world diverse. And that's what I love about that box of chocolates. But the biggest thing is if you're here, what is the vision you have for yourself? What is it that you are headed toward? I can't help but ask you this because my father was in the Navy and he taught me at a very young age. I remember being 4 years old, 6 years old, 9 years old, and he was teaching me the constellations and how to navigate to north. And of course, we use Polaris. And so he would always call, literally, these were the terms he would use. You see the Big Dipper? I was the very first constellation I learned. He'd talk about the pointer stars and what is Polaris. Okay. So I'm going to be asking you the question, what is the greatest challenge that I can help you with? That is what's going to happen to give you a little bit of background and some next steps that you can move into. I've written a few books. I started writing when I was in 2005. It was Money. It's not just for rich people. I still run every year money programs to help people not only get out of debt, but to move financially into a financial stability where they want to go. I use the 60/40 principle and we do a few things, but I don't care what money program you're a part of. Just pick someone that you trust and get on it if you're not happy where your financial situation is right now. The next thing is I'd like you to think about becoming a beta reader. I'm reworking that book. It's been 20 years. And I am rewriting it if you'd like to be a beta reader of my 20th anniversary edition of Money. It's not just for rich people. Lynette is putting the link in the chat for you. If you have not received your on mute card or you wish to receive your on mute card, I would highly recommend click the link. It'll take you to a form. Oh, yay, Jeff. Thank you. Appreciate you. The thing is this is just my way of spreading a little joy and happiness and something practical in the mail. Okay, so just my gift to you for showing up. Thank you for showing up here today. Also, we have a link to how to get more clients. I'm asked this a lot, and instead of spending time over and over and over again, I just shot a video. How do I get more clients? This is what you go about doing. You can also get my book, The Thriving Solopreneur. That's where we talk about your critical 4 hours a week. Lynette's going to put a link in the chat that is also a video that goes through the critical 4 hours a week. So as a business owner, basically, are you tracking your progress? What is it that is an income producing activity? And are you tracking that income producing activity? What is it that you make the most money with? And when you start analyzing that, that's what you do ad nauseum. Whatever it is that makes the most money. Now, if you're one of those people who's just starting out, you don't even have a client, we can talk about that when we go back for questions. The biggest thing is, have you built out your master contact sheet? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Lynette is putting a link in the chat. Notice there's a theme here. We've answered these questions over and over and over on Open Friday Coffee. And so that's why we have all these links. They go to my website. On that website, you'll have the YouTube video and you'll have the downloadables and you'll have a click a link that you can click on to come back to the next Open Friday Coffee. Why is that? If you have a question, would you come back and ask? Come back and ask. I'll be glad to help you out. That's what the Brain Trust is for. For my authors, how is your writing habit going? And and to my dear friend Ronald, who contacted me, I just wanted to let you know, dude, it's all about your routines, your systems, and your deadlines. The problem that you are struggling with right now is you have not set up a routine. You're waiting to be inspired to write. That's not going to help you, dude. What you have to do is you sit down every day, even if it's only for 3 minutes. Open up your document, have a calendar appointment with yourself, and make it for only 5 minutes. And in that appointment calendar, put in the descriptor or on the location bar the link to your Word document or the link to your Google document. And that way, when you hit that point on your day, you just click it. It automatically opens up the document you want to write on, and you start writing on it. And that's the way you create a routine, so that you are writing Monday through Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. I don't care what your days are. You must have a routine, because without a routine as an author, the muse will not visit. You have to show up every day that you say you're going to show up for the muse to know that you're going to be there. Okay, so that's for you, Roland. Hope it's helping you out. Okay, so this is where I go, hey, thank you so much for showing up to Open Friday Coffee. And what is your current greatest challenge that I can help you with today? By the way, Conrad, thank you for joining us. Great to see you here. And Rich, lovely, lovely. We'll save the Hebrew haha for the end. Okay, so we'll start off with Jeff, then Grace, and then Conrad. So, Jeff, good morning. What
Good
can I do
morning.
you for?
I have an interesting situation where I wrote my book on neuropathy and how to live symptom free. And I had a speaking coach who's taken me under her wing, ask me a question that was the aha moment. I explained that I had been online and seen a lot of different people that have a similar treatment to me, and they were all doctors selling their treatment. And I have no idea if they're actually teaching people about neuropathy, how it works, and why it does what it does. Most doctors don't, from my experience. And she said, "Are you selling your treatment?" I said, "Well, I am getting people attached to the treatment if they want it." It says, "Well, why do you want to do that?" I went, why do you want to do it just like everybody else? And you're not a doctor. They've got an advantage. I don't know if they have an advantage, but it made me go, okay, so maybe if I teach people about neuropathy as a neuropathy coach and give them access to the treatment, that might be more of an advantage. I'd love thoughts on that. I don't disagree with it, certainly, and I'm not a doctor. The other thing is the neurologist who actually treated me got real greedy on the pricing and basically priced me out of it.
I think you answered your own question. Did you hear what you said?
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
just I'm just wondering about thoughts and
It doesn't matter. That's not relevant. Nobody else's thoughts are relevant. Okay, so if I can share anything, I'm serious. It doesn't
I
matter. Get that
but I've
first
had a lot of
client.
different ideas thrown at me that I went, oh
Yeah,
wow, yeah,
okay,
you're
yeah, yeah.
absolutely right.
That is what's relevant. That is relevant. And kudos to that coach for asking questions. Bravo, stick with this beautiful person, because that's all fabulous. I wouldn't go anywhere else, nor would I ask for any more advice. It resonated with you. It harmonized with you. You were happy with it. So it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If it's harmonizing with you, if you're like, wow, I never thought of it that way before, let me sit with that. Wait a minute. Why am I not doing this? And you start going down. That is your pole star. That is what you are supposed to be doing. That is where you are going. And when you get 3 people to pay you, raise your rate. Get 3 more people to pay you, raise your rate. And I started doing that. I don't give discounts. I don't give sales. I don't, I know Americans are trained for that, but those are not the people I want. And the reason that you keep raising your rate is because you're getting better. Okay, you're paying, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at teaching this. I'm getting better. So every time my people, my beta readers, they'll see me come through and say, hey, I'm starting a new program. It's $37. Everybody jumps on it because at $37, they know it's the first time I've ever done it. I'm going to record it. I'm going to put it up on my website. And every time I do it after that, I will raise my rate. So I have trained my people that way. I highly encourage people to use this model, because when you get better, raise your rate. Okay, we have a lot of beautiful people in the Philippines that are being hired by Americans to do things at rates we cannot live on. We need to train people that if we have a skill set, you will pay as we get better and better at that skill set because we are being outpriced and outsourced by other countries. That's fine. I want everybody to have a home and I want everyone to be well fed. So don't think that in any way I'm being disparaging to those folks. I'm thrilled that we can support those countries too. However, I'm watching business owners go down the tubes, go into debt, get burnout, all that kind of stuff. That's what I don't want for you. So this is how I have changed and moved the needle in my own life. That when you see a price of 37 for me, you know it's the first time I've ever done it. If you see a second price for me, that's $97. That means it's been recorded. My team has done some post production on it. It's going up on my website. If you see it at $197, that means I don't even teach it anymore. It's not worth my time because I've moved on to a new project. If you see something at 900 and above, that's because those are occasional times that I'm coming in and doing workshops. So thank you so much for joining us, Roxanne. But Jeff, seriously, with what you have going on, definitely you do not want to do anything else now except build that workshop, start inviting people to your workshop and taking on one-to-one clients and figuring out your price points. Talk to your speakers coach. She'll be able to, he or she may be able to help you with that.
Exactly where I am. I'm looking for stages and networking and just get the word out that there is something else out there besides diving into
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
doctors saying that this will.
Yeah. Do you happen to have a landing page yet on your website that you do this?
I do.
Okay,
However,
fabulous.
it's not completed yet.
It doesn't
This is
matter.
a this week thing. This
Yeah.
is why I'm here.
No, don't worry about it. I have sold items from a Google Doc because I hadn't built out the landing page yet. That's where I was going. If you didn't have the landing page, get the Google Doc. Okay. So this is for everybody. Don't think you need to sell anything that looks pristine. You don't. You need to let them know that you're serious about what you're doing and what they can get. So on a Google Doc, because you don't have a website, this is your landing page. Okay. People make a big deal about a landing page has to look beautiful. No, I have sold $15,000 programs off a Google Doc, okay, because people could see exactly what I was going to do. And I had backup resources, links to things I had done before and all that, right? But it was a Google Doc. It was crappy. The guy gave me $15,000 for that program because he's like, Janine, it's obvious you know what you're doing. You're organized. It's all there on the Google Doc. I just had to click on the links and go look at the other stuff. Okay. So that's all they care about. Are you friendly? To get most jobs, do you know what the two requirements are? Um, are you friendly? Are you easy to work with? And are you competent? Believe it or not, that's all you need.
Oh, I'm screwed.
You're totally screwed, Jeff, at this point. By the way, Jeff is one of my favorite comedians. Look him up. Look him up. Okay. So, Jeff, we're going to salute and say good luck on all that. Grace. Oh, hi, Rich. What do you need, dear? You're on mute.
I just wanted to chime in on what Jeff said real quickly, if you don't mind.
No.
Education, in my opinion, is so key on something like neuropathy because most people have no clue what neuropathy is. And, they're walking around or moving around through life thinking that it's something and it could be something else completely. So I love the idea that you're going to be coming in from this from an education perspective because most doctors don't.
You're absolutely right. And the one thing that really charged me into this was I knew about neuropathy very well because my godmother was type 2 diabetic all her life, and she had neuropathy really bad. So I was very familiar with it. I went to the chiropractor for sciatica, and he
Okay.
says,
Okay.
how long
I'm
have
sorry,
you had
Jeff.
neuropathy?
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm going to move on. So forgive me. I'm going to be that obnoxious radio show host because that's where I'm from. That's who I am. I'm going to be awful. I'm going to cut people off and go, we're moving on. So, Grace, hi. What's going on? What can we do? How can I help you today?
Hello.
Hey.
So after our little conversation last week,
Mm-hmm.
I did sign up for your beta reading course and
Oh,
went
cool.
through the first 3 lessons.
Excellent.
And so I've been thinking after that about my editing / beta reading business. And I realized after doing a little more research that what I'm currently offering is definitely not beta reading, but editorial
I
assessments.
kind of thought so. Well, I'm glad you came to your own conclusion on that. Brilliant. Well done.
So I'm doing editorial assessments, but I'm not sure if I'm at a point where I can charge normal editor rates for that. I don't know if I have the skills. I don't feel like I have the skills yet, but so I wondered if you had any advice for how I could get to that point where I
Um,
can.
yeah. What are normal editorial skills in your opinion?
Just a really solid understanding of story structure and character arcs and all the different pieces that go into building a story.
Do you
And
feel
I've definitely,
competent in those areas?
I've studied a lot, but I know I still have a lot left to learn.
Uh, so do doctors. They've studied extensively, and guess what? Diseases keep manifesting. So I'll say again, do you feel competent?
Maybe.
Okay, we want a hard yes on that. So if you're not at a hard yes, where do you feel that you need improvement?
I think I need to understand the logistical side of being an editor more
What
because
is
I've
what is the logistical?
just how to do like format an edit letter, how to communicate with editing clients, um, how to come alongside them after you give them the edit letter
To
and
me, that's
continue
just part of
supporting
the
them.
job. To me, what you're saying
Yeah,
is just the job. So what I hear is I just need experience. Is that right?
probably.
Okay. So find some fancy schmancy author that's writing a book and offer to have them as your very first client. Okay. And they're going to be your first client. And what they're going to do is they won't pay you, but you will offer to really work your skills with them. And then in return, that author will then say, okay, you can use this book as a case study. You can call me your first client, blah, blah, blah. And then that's how you get the experience. So you can work out the kinks in that with the author. And that's why the author won't pay you because they're also training you from their side as the client side. Okay.
Okay.
And I think you're a part of an author's beta reading program already, and they're currently working on a book. And maybe if you negotiate something with her, she might help you out. I don't know, but just an
Okay.
idea I'm throwing out there. Okay, sound good?
Yeah, thank
All right.
you.
So I hit you at all your weak points. Now I want you to focus on where do you rock the Casbah when it comes to your skill set? Where are you like hardcore? I have got this so down. Like I know I'm good on these skill sets. I want you to write up that list and email it to that author we were talking about, and then let's work from there. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds
Cool.
good. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, cool. Conrad, oh my goodness, my friend, it is so great to see you. Let me brag about Conrad for a little bit. Conrad, I would write thank you letters to all the time because he and I were working, and it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But he has a lifestyle that's like, I don't really like having a lot of mail, Janine. It like clutters my life, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. He goes, but I really am appreciative of the letters. And he did this beautiful thing on LinkedIn, and he's like showing all my stuff, and he like gave me all this promotion. So to say I just love this guy is an understatement. And he also can help you if you're an entrepreneur and you need some administrative assistant. He has a whole team and agency. Hi, Conrad. How's the agency going?
Hi, Janine. Hi, everyone. Things are going great. Well
Good.
Aware is building by the day.
Excellent.
I do my best not to get overly wrapped up in the business, and that lets me be on the business. And so, um,
Good job.
very happy. I did recognize through your call to action in your last email that I did want to share with you some big updates for this year and
Okay.
obviously catch up on the whole. Right now, outside of Well Aware as a virtual assistance agency, I have now officially completed my first version of In the Loop by Well Aware.
Oh, fabulous.
So
Okay.
for context for everyone involved, I as part of my obsession over operations, I've particularly come to enjoy the operation of introductions and managing introductions between my network. I realize that it's something that I'd like to do as a labor of love, similar to what I think a lot of what Janine does. I also recognize, though, that I have a bigger appetite for making intros than I could possibly sustain. And I wanted to do a better justice to how I make and manage introductions at scale without sort of letting things slip through the cracks in sort of that operational sense. Because it's an administrative burden. You got to do it. You got to spend the time. So, In the Loop by Well Aware is a software tool specifically designed just to help you make introductions faster, better, and smarter. Right now,
Great.
this current
Okay, so
release.
Conrad, I am that annoying, horrible, awful radio show host that just interrupts every single time. Talk to me. How can I help you today?
Could I invite you to give the product a try?
And the answer to that, my friend, is you bet your sweet bippy. So what can we do?
I would love to direct you to the website and
Okay.
invite you to hit the Get Started button.
Okay. No problem. I will not be doing that now, but can I invite a few close friends that I have with me online right now? Is that possible?
If that's all right with you.
Okay, that's totally all right with me. By the way, Conrad started working on his first software. How old were you when you were first starting? Because I've known you for a bit.
What year are we in?
I know you're 2025, and
Um,
we knew each other before
before that,
COVID. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been it's really been like a 2021 vision turned
Right.
into a very, it's funny, I actually just sat down with my developer yesterday, my current developer, and we kind of went through almost like a 4-year history of where I was before him, what I was trying to accomplish before that, how I was
Right.
going about producing the product, and all my lack of understanding around product management, software development, UX, UI design. It's a
Yeah.
chore. Anyone who's like, oh, I want to build a software product and let the product work for me. I'm like, dude, be ready. Like, it's a service to build software as a service.
Right. SaaS, they make it sound like, oh yeah, software as a service. No problem. I can build software. I know code. Oh my gosh. And that's where I met Conrad as he was going through his third developer in the process. And he's like, I'm moving to Texas. This is happening. That's happening.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to say, number one, your tenacity, I admire tremendously. I admire how you've managed to do some side hacks to keep things moving for you, and then how you have used so many different other services to bring it in to make it incredible. So yeah, I will be happy to take a look at the software, and I'll have to schedule it. Next week is totally booked, so it's going to be almost 2 weeks before I can get to it. But I will sit down, I will look at it, I'll shoot a video for you, and I'll ship it back to you, my thoughts on it, okay? Is there anything specific you wanted me to look at, or do you want me just to do stream of consciousness?
Stream of conscious would be great. I'm sure
Okay.
you'll find some things that I may not be recognizing in the workflow of getting onboarded.
Right.
My only hope is that at the end of the product experience, at least the first time around, you feel confident that this tool helps you make an introduction more effectively, and that
Okay.
it gives you delight knowing that your introduction is going to be looked after once you've sent it, such that 2 weeks later, the system will automatically follow up on your behalf and say, hey,
Okay.
how did the introduction go? What can I do as a
Right.
response to that?
Okay. And so for everybody who's on the call today, if you want to join me, then we can play around with the software in our little group with what Conrad has built. And then Grace, you may want to reach out to Conrad, ask permission if you can go on, and then ask if he would allow you to be a second client for your editorial services. How does that sound? Okay, since you're a fledgling. Grace, where are you in your education right now?
I'm still in high school.
You're in high,
But
okay, so
yeah.
that's why Conrad, I know, to me, she looked like she was in college. So she was like, oh, I can't remember what age you told me, but I remember it was like, ooh, we're still under 18. But, and so that's why, but anyway, that's why she's trying to get experience now so that she can keep moving forward with her other business. So one of the things, Grace, entrepreneurs are very giving as long as you have the tenacity to follow up on the advice they give you. So, I think you might have some help there if you'll chat nicely with Conrad later when he has time. Okay.
Okay.
Treat him well. He was a you to me not long ago. But now he's got this whole company. Okay. Conrad, anything else we can do to help you out today? No.
Thank you for your
Good.
time.
All right. Awesome. All right. I look forward to it. We'll make that happen. Roxanne, hey, thank you for joining the crowd. It's a little tough here. Let me give you a button. You're on your phone. Give me a second. There you go. Can you see the button?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, how's it going? What's happening? How can I help you?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to I'm in the need for community, so I'm just glad to be here and hear y'all talk about your ideas and what y'all are up to. Um, I'm not up to anything right now. I love hearing that other people have their own ideas that they're creating and like coming to fruition. That's beautiful. I kudos to everyone here.
A lot of my community is set up as entrepreneurs. So if we're going to eat, we have to be creative. That's the way it rolls. So one of the things to let you know about Roxanne, since you were kind enough, I have a coffee chat in Longmont at Miko on Sunday from 1 to 3 if you want to join my community there.
Oh, perfect. I'll do
So
that.
that's an in-person event you can go to. I met Roxanne with Mending Longmont because you guys know I started that little business in a box if you listen to the podcast, and it took off. And her mom operates Abby's Alterations down on Main Street in Longmont. And so I wandered in there and said, "Hey, can I have your business card?" And Roxanne was at the front desk and she said, "Here, have 10. I don't want to limit you. Here's my whole box of 500. Take as many as you want." And I was like, "I like this person." So anyway, so Roxanne, yeah, definitely. If you want to join me at Miko Coffee on Sunday, 1 to 3.
1 to
Okay.
3. Definitely.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And so that's something else I encourage you guys to do. For the last 10 years, I have been solely online. And so now that things are where they are now, I am starting to meet with people in a coffee shop. I sit there, I send out my send out cards to everybody who's in my local community. And I go, I'm going to be at this coffee shop at this time if you want to join me. And there's a QR code on the back. I'm like, for directions, I click it, I put the arrows in the card. They go to the back of the card, click the QR code, and it takes them to the coffee shop that I'm going to be. So I basically led people by the hand through my cards how to get to me. And what is fascinating is I had so many people reach out to me because they let mail sit and it went past the time of my meeting and they're like, "Oh my God." See, so I'm training my people, open my mail when you get to it because you never know. There may be an invitation in there. And I got 4 text messages from people and set up meetings with those people to talk to them about how I might be able to help them. So that's just a little tidbit of what you can do with card sending and in-person events. Even when they don't show up, you still have an in with these people and it can be helpful to you. So that's just another idea to help you out with the in-person. I do not set up these big events. I park myself either at a Perkins because they have 24/7 Wi-Fi, and I really enjoyed Perkins because they helped out my writers group many, many times. They let all of us sit there during NaNoWriMo at midnight with our 20 computers and our electrical cords and everything going everywhere. And they let us sit there for 3 hours and write. So that was kind of sweet. So that's why Perkins. But I sit at a Perkins or a coffee shop that I like, some independent coffee shop, and I invite people to me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here for 2 hours. If nobody shows up, it's no big deal. I've got my laptop. I have my cup of coffee. I'm good, right? It's fine. If people do show up, then there is that meeting. So that's something that may be of service to you. I'm thinking about you specifically, Rich, because of your book and the fact that you know so many people. And I know that New York has its own style, but I also know that, like Chicago, your neighborhoods have hubs. So, hi, Rich. Welcome to the show. Thanks for showing up. What's happening?
It is my pleasure to be here. And thank you, as always, for having this opportunity for us to get together. I love how, Roxanne, and how you said that you were just jonesing for community. And that's a big part of why I'm here right now. Like most of us, I work by myself, with myself. Myself is my sounding board. And that's not necessarily the best echo chamber to be a part of. So I come here because it's the brain trust. I like being with the brain trust. I like being a part of the brain trust. And I've always been a fan of networking up. And that's why I be here. And my life is not what it was before I met Janine. So I'll just tout that for a quick moment. And I made the mistake one time of saying that I was bookless in front of Janine. And well, So now I'm pushing my second book.
I'm in labor.
No, it's out, baby. It's
I
out.
I know it's out. Yeah, that's why I'm like.
And so first of all, I want to thank you for the give me a second, it just left my head. The Rowan and Martin's laugh-in reference about this the bet your bippy.
You bet your sweet bippy. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. I like to throw that stuff out there for the old folk.
So older. When that show came on, I mean, I was a kid, but I got it. I got all the dirty references and all that kind of stuff. So I just appreciate that you're throwing out things like Rock the Casbah and your Bippy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what's funny is I'll say that to no offense to anybody under the age of 20 right now, but I'll say that to a lot of my college students or my high school students that join me for my money workshops. And I'll throw out these references and you can just see them look up from their phones like, what are you talking about? And my other one is, I like that. I'm going to use that. That's my favorite one is they start texting.
Now, if you had said you're sweet and sour Bippy, you would have had me on the floor.
I know. Wasn't going to go that far to the dark side there, Rich.
So I wanted to also just acknowledge that I had gotten caught up in being bad and wrong because I didn't get my book marketed for the holiday season this year properly. And
Well,
what the reality was, I just didn't figure out my marketing. So now I'm figuring out my marketing, and now I can just move forward and let the guilt and all that kind of stuff go because that's just not serving me.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's just a boat anchor. That's an albatross. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know. I'm gonna voluntold you as I do with my scouts all the time, Rich. So Grace, Rich is a new author, and sometimes he struggles with his writing. And Rich, I think Grace would help you because she's looking for experience.
this
And
book
she may need somebody to like send her stuff so she can edit and then she can use it in her testimonial page on her website.
Grace, you're not Jewish, I assume, right?
What? Sorry.
You're not Jewish, I assume.
No.
So how is a non-Jew going to edit a book about Yiddish?
Exactly. Exactly the same way that Conrad is asking a non-programmer to check out his UI interface. You don't want a programmer checking out your UI interface, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Grace, you and I'll be in contact after this.
I do that just to get you to Twitch, Conrad, because I know it's UI, but I like to say UI interface and cause people to. That was for you. Anyway, but that's why you want somebody totally outside of your ilk. You want somebody totally outside of the realm to be looking at things because they will ask you the question like Jeff had that will cause an aha in your marketing. They're going to ask you a question and you're going to go, because somebody who's within the tribe will not ask you that question. But it's the question that somebody outside the tribe will ask that will help you with your marketing to your tribe.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are so welcome. That's why I encourage you, especially, and that's why my students, my college, all those beautiful people under the age of 20 are so very important to me because they look at me and go, well, why would you do that? You know, like they're really curious. They're not asking you in a sense of judgment. And it's because I remember what it was like when we didn't have Wi-Fi, but they are so in all of that what I'm trying to do or accomplish is ridiculous to them because it's not evident that you would need to walk down that path. Bye, Conrad. Have a wonderful day. We will see you soon. All right. Any other questions from people? Anything else we can help you with? Jeff, you are rocking and rolling, dude. You don't need us for anything other than send us your link to your landing pages or your Google Docs and let us know how we can help with editing. By the way, I know of a young editor who's looking to get some experience.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. How's that?
Wonderful. Oh, fabulous.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not afraid to say so. Shy does not describe me very well. No, the idea of, hey, if it resonated, go with it. It hit me like a brick on the side of my head, and I just
Good,
went, I got to do that. So
good,
yes,
good, 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 good. Bravo. Well done. I'm just so proud of you. So that's why I'm like, don't look for thoughts, man. You know it. You know it. You know, that stupid little song. If you're happy and you know it.
wow, the references here are amazing.
And we can also do head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. I'm sorry, were you expecting me to be serious this entire
Step away from the vodka.
And it's not even 7:30 yet, according to my clock.
The wheels on the bus
Let's
go
go
round,
round,
round.
round. Everybody get out your ukulele. Anyway, okay, so Grace, is there anything else that we can help you out with, or anything that I may have suggested or recommended, or any comments on your side?
I don't think I have any comments or questions about what you said. It was really helpful.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
I
good.
did wonder if you had any advice, because I have this one client from Fiverr before I got canceled on Fiverr for being a
Okay.
minor.
Oops.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a rule.
Oh, I can drive, but I can't run my own business. That doesn't make
Yep.
sense,
They
right?
should
Oh, I
call it
get it.
18er.
Right.
But I'm in contact with him, and I wondered if you thought it would be a good idea to, because he sees me as just a beta reader, but do you think it would be a good idea to try to leverage that connection and help him see that I am moving into like the editor stage, or just kind of let it go? Because he's been a pretty good client to work with, but I also get the feeling that he isn't willing to pay a whole lot for good feedback.
Mm.
So
I if you're starting to have intuitional misgivings, I always listen to those.
Okay.
When it comes to people, especially as a business owner. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs that are highly successful, and what I mean by highly successful is this: I do not necessarily mean they're making millions or they're making over 100,000 a year. I'm not talking about that. There are some business owners that run a business because they need quick cash for this amount of time and then they shut down their business. Okay. I am insanely successful at that. All right. And I have a tendency to attract other people who are insanely successful. Conrad is another one, and Rich is another one, and Jeff runs around and has done a myriad of things. But when you run into those successful business owners, what is fascinating about them is that they have a very high level of emotional intelligence. And that is the word we now use for that feeling in your gut or your intuition, or yeah, they call it emotional intelligence now. And your emotional IQ is very high. If you are an entrepreneur, you will get a vibe or a feeling like this can go very wrong. And so, what a lot of entrepreneurs will then do is say, I need to create that contract for this negotiation, because they feel like things can go off the rails. Like, I normally don't use contracts except when I get this niggle of this could go wrong very easily. Then I'll say, are you okay if I send over a contract? You know how long my contracts are? 1 page. 1 page with bullet points like this, by this date, by that. It's like, it almost looks like a receipt. Okay. It's so basic. And it's funny how every time I've done that, the person would come back and add on to my bullet points, which would change the price of what we're doing. And if I hadn't done that, okay. So if you do want to do work with this person, then I would make sure that before you enter into any financial agreement with them, that you do that almost a receipt, very basic kind of contract to have them sign it, that has price points and end dates that things will happen by. Therefore, if there's any discrepancy or difficulty, you can go back to the original contract and said, yes, I did say I would have it done for you by XYZ, but if you will look at the second bullet point, I also said that I needed the manuscript by XYZ date. right? Because that's what happens a lot of times is people will want, I work for a website hosting company. That was one of my clients. And people would say, well, how long will it take for the website to come up? Well, we know we can do it in 90 days. And that is a 15-page website complete with links and social media. I mean, I'm always impressed what that team can do. However, it takes us a year. Why? Our client does not give us the information we need. Our client will not get on the call with us so that we can do the two-factor authentication so we can get their Spotify to link up with their Stripe account. This is why it takes us a year. And so that is the challenge that you have. So if you're getting like misgivings, the story you have in your head, as far as I don't know if he'll pay, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. That's not the reason. You're getting some feedback. Go find out what the real story is by creating a contract of goods and services that you would be willing to offer them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so that's the real reason that a lot of your emotional IQ will, to use the word trigger maybe isn't right, but it will come online for you. You're like, this could go wrong. How could it go wrong? Well, he could be wanting XYZ PDQ. All right, well, let's make sure we write it out. So that's what I would do. So yes is the answer. I would pursue it, but be aware that you want to use your empathy that you have that's very high level. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to edit the way you do. And stay in the author's voice requires a bit of empathy to be able to do that. So with that high skill level that you do have, use it tactically. Use it to your advantage. Yeah, and it makes it better for everybody, right? It's a win-win-win, which is my favorite way to be. It's a win for him, it's a win for you, and it's a win for the person who's eventually going to read the material. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. And who happens to join us, but our other part of the Hebrew Haha team. Hi, Matt. What's happening? What have you got for us today?
Oh, I just got back from the gym. Thankfully, I'm virtual. So,
All right. So other than being
Wait a minute, you did a virtual workout?
well, no, it's Operation Hebrew Holiday. I had to go to the gym. So I texted Gene, last night. The Jewish guilt kicked in. I couldn't sit there and get there at 9. I felt cut off like a moil. And so it's like, I'm just going to get here, when I get here. And I got here, I rushed to get home because, Matt, you can't be on the phone and be on Zoom at the same time. So she's trained me well. And so I know I have to be physically at home to go on. So it's like, there's your learning lesson today, follow the poochies and, be obedient. So,
right, well, all right, I'm just going to cut in for a moment. I will totally own that. He one time only came onto Zoom, was trying to drive and talk. And I said, Matt, I am removing you from the Zoom. I will not accept that. And he's like, and then beep, off he went. And that's just because I am a mom. And I will not be the reason that somebody wrecks in traffic.
Exactly.
And
so
you may say, oh, but Janine, the odds. No, I had somebody wreck in traffic trying to talk to me on Zoom at the same time. It was a one-to-one. That will never happen again on my watch. So yes, I'm a bit passionate. And thank you, Matt, for being so sweet as to mention that. So I could say, yeah, I will. I am that horrible radio show host. I will cut you off. I will ship you out of this room if you are doing something that the mom in me knows your mom would want me to do.
Exactly. So I have to count for how exponentially, quickly I can get home without killing myself and actually hop on the Zoom. So
it doesn't matter. Mom's going to get blamed no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, anyway, I had to throw out that Jewish guilt disclaimer there, which actually like. So the big thing this week is where technology goes with AI, and so Samsung had their Unpacked event this week, and the new S25 is coming out. But almost everything that you're going to buy, to some extent, is going to have an AI component in it, both on the hardware level and on the software level. Case in point, with the new phone, you could sit there and search through a picture just by asking to find a certain picture with a certain criteria. You could sit there and have a text message, and then have the text message, edit what the other person said, and then formulate what you should write to the other person. You could sit there and let's say a picture, and two people are smiling and one isn't, it will find the part where the other person that's not smiling is and add that into the picture. So again, it's using that AI to manipulate what is going on there, which is pretty wild. And that is coming out, if it hasn't come out there already. Also, Tesla released their new Model Y, which is their small SUV, which is, I'm eyeing that because I see that as an EV cash cow to help people down here with their cars, because that's basically a computer on wheels as far as I'm concerned. So if you are looking to get an EV this year, do it before Trump, puts the iron hammer down and revokes the EV mandate or the tax credit. So that's something to sit there and think about as well. And NVIDIA will be releasing new chips for both AI and on the consumer side. That's coming out. So that should be interesting as well. No major, identity, hacking things going on to my knowledge that I should be aware about. But this is definitely the time of year, especially in the beginning of the year, where you want to do a tech assessment of where you are and where you think you need to be, because you may think you dotted all your I's and all your T's. Guess what? I'll reconfirm that for you. So that's really my thing. And I wish everybody has a good weekend, and I'll post my information in the chat if you want to talk nerdy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Matt. Matt helps me stay up to date because of the amount of activity we have online, especially with me and my team. It's not just me. I've got 4 other people that use my name and run around. They identify themselves, but that's just one of those things that we have had our share. I had 2 of my 14 websites that got slapped into Google jail because somebody was able to hack into my account. And so now I have Matt helping me using Bitdefender and a whole slew of other software packages to keep what we do out of the hands of people who are being malicious or just want to see if they can, So if there's any other questions that you have for today, or everybody good? Roxanne, I want to let you know I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And then Rich, anything else you wanted to share with us before we get ready to take off? No, everything good? Okay.
Everything's
So
great.
Matt,
Thank you.
okay. So Matt, all I can say is I'm glad that Hebrew Hottie is back on the shelf and making things happen. Yeah, you go. If you want, we can be your weekly check-in. So how's it going? How
Yes,
you doing?
I would love an accountability buddy.
Right.
And
Baruch atah Adonai.
on the blessing on the bread of the wine.
This was for Hanukkah.
So what?
Hanukkah.
Okay, so what? You're early for this year?
All right,
Why not?
gentlemen. So we will be your accountability partner. And Jeff, when you get things worked up, bring them by next week if you have time. I'd love to take a look. We'll go on, take a look at it. I'll share my screen. We'll see how you're doing. And then, yeah, keep talking to that wonderful coach that you've got. There's no reason for you to deviate. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yay. All right. Grace, good luck. May the force be with you, my dear. Roxanne,
Thank you.
I'll see you on Sunday. The rest of you wonderful Hebrew ha-has. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody.
All
Happy
right, thanks. Have a
weekend.
great weekend. Take care.
Bye-bye now.